okay, we're moving you to a totally different city, and you don't know anybody, and you can't call your family, and you can't call any of your friends, and you need to leave your phone here, and you can't take any of your stuff with you. We'll figure that out later. And they just pick you up and they transport you to a totally different place, and then tell you to just wait in this room for a little while because we're gonna figure things out. And then they come and bring you a little sack lunch in, and it's just a few more hours, and we're gonna figure this out. Just here, play with this little toy, get this little ring on a hook. And then they send you to these really well-meaning people but you have no idea who they are, and their house smells different, and maybe they have a dog, and they have hardwood floors, you've only ever had carpet, like everything about the experience is alien to you. And all you want is to be able to contact the people that you have a bond with. It's a very disrupting experience. And in a lot of ways, it's a traumatic experience because all of these things are unexpected, and suddenly everything in your world that you felt was safe and secure and concrete is not. And having those ideas shattered is really difficult, especially as a child, because you need that security. You need to know that here's my bed, I can come home to it, and this is where it's going to be, and that's going to be okay. Or here's my mom, and no matter what, she's going to be there for me, and I can just call her and she'll show up, and that's going to be okay. When you can't believe that anymore, it starts to make you question, well, what can you believe? Who can you trust? What is a for sure thing? You begin to stop valuing certain things. You stop valuing relationships because they're not concrete and they're not going to be there forever. And you stop investing yourself in certain things. And all of a sudden, stability isn't really important to you. Having goals isn't important to you. You are concerned with where are you going to sleep tonight? Are you going to be safe? Who are these people? Doing a simple thing like taking a shower in a stranger's home is a very disconcerting experience. So the more that you get moved around, the more trauma that you endure in that. Every single move is a traumatic experience. So you can see the consequences later on. And really you can see the consequences pretty early on. As a child who's in foster care, I exhibited signs of not being able to trust other people, of not wanting to connect. I had some really antisocial behavior. I also had a deep dislike for government agencies, for the police, for social workers. Like, I did not believe that they were on my team, because when I'm telling you that this is what I need, and you're just not listening, and you're saying, well, this is what we feel you need, I can't trust you any longer. As a child, you do not have the capacity to forward think. And you are not able to. And scientifically, your brain isn't even wired to do that yet. And so the decisions that you're making are pure emotional. When you're dealing with a traumatic situation and when the people around you don't have the tools to help you deal with that, the decisions that you're making are pure instinctive. And so I just know that if I have this incredible amount of sadness and this incredible amount of fear, and I don't know what to do with it, well, maybe I should just run away. Maybe I should do drugs. Maybe I should get in fights. Maybe I should cuss out my foster parents. There's all kinds of different things that happen. None of those things were planned. All of those things were unintended consequences because I didn't know how to deal with the original emotions that I was facing. And so I really just want people to understand that these kids just need help. I don't understand how there's so much funding for foster care benefits, for adoption benefits, for emergency shelters. There's so much funding for that, but there's no funding for family preservation. And had my mom just had a little bit of help, had she have had enough money to buy her own vehicle, had she had enough money to relocate herself from an abusive situation, had she not had to depend on men in the first place for any kind of financial stability, I don't believe that she would have made some decisions that she made. I don't believe that she would have struggled as a mother, because my mom is a good mom. She just had some hardships and she had nobody to help her. And so I don't understand how there's so much funding to take us away, but there's no funding to keep us there.
All right, so we have a few of these on removed. We got Dr. Lichtenberg checking in here. Few others I wanted to put up about the soft white underbelly is a good a good breakdown, along with going undercover as a pedophile to catch child predators. So there's quite a few with the documentary in relation to what types of groups that we need out there. And then, since half of you have led your group already, getting back to working on typing up the final paper of either running a grant or running a group grant funded. But here's the first one on purgatory first, about
codependency. Codependency is addiction to take care of
relationships. It's like a BPD relationship. So the a lot of short films on abusive relationships, but these are some of the groups you'll lead at the domestic violence shelters. Gaslighting and breaking the cycle.
Morning. Edith. Morning, Ladybug. Hey. Did you sleep bad last night? Did you sleep all the way through?
I don't really remember.
You didn't make a sound. No. Some tea.
Thank you.
Hopefully you'll feel better today.
Yeah.
Right. Get up. It'll help you shake it off.
Thanks. Today's gonna be a good day. Oh, sorry, I'll do it. Yes. Sorry. I had blood again today, Adam. I still don't really know what it is. I think maybe I should see a doctor or something.
We've covered this.
I know, but what if it's serious?
It isn't. Look, if you go to the doctor, it's just a waste of time and you look like an idiot. Hey, it came up on its own accord. Okay, it came up on its own accord. I'm running late. Again, thank you. Don't kiss me. Love you.
Love you.
Don't forget the food delivery.
Hi, nice to see you. How are you?
Fine, thanks.
Good. Got your usual delivery for Mr. Allen.
Thank you.
Did you know that the address is still wrong on the system?
No, sorry, that's my fault. I'll fix it.
All right, so this is kind of getting into the gaslighting and things that could come up in a relationship. Leading domestic violence groups is tricky, but understanding a lot of the dynamics between it. Then I'll show you a grant we did for Lighthouse Youth Services.
Just not a great time, Mum.
Voicemail, press 1. Hi, Lulu, it's Bob. I hope you're well. Still haven't heard back from you. Anyway, your sister and I headed to London on Saturday, and we'd love to stop by. It's been so long since we spoke, and we miss you. And I think we got a dating ring. All right, Mom. Call us when you can, okay? Bye.
Ads? Hey, I have a surprise for you. Ta-ta! What do you think? I got it the other day. It's nice, right?
What?
What do you mean, why?
You weren't just like that when the delivery man came, was you?
No, of course I wasn't.
Okay.
It's not like he'd be interested in me anyway, right? I'll take your coat.
No, it's okay.
Good day.
Why don't you get your hair down like that? You know, it looks better up.
Yeah, I just thought the dress.
There you go again. Thinking. Oh, baby, this is lovely.
Yeah?
Yeah. some of the lemon.
Is it okay? Okay. Oh, my mom called today.
Really?
Mm.
I'm surprised you answered. What does she want?
No, I let it go to voicemail. She actually wants to come over on Saturday. She's gonna be in London, so she.
You know, we see my mother on Saturdays, so.
No, yeah, I know. I know. I just thought maybe we could see my mom for a change.
Why? She never thinks about our plans, does she? She's trying to dictate when and where you should be.
No, I don't think it's like that.
Really?
Yeah.
You've forgotten what she said about me? What was poison? You know, you're better off now. Your sister will see the truth too. Pass the salt.
I could ask her to change the times if that's better, or it's not a big deal. I could see her alone if that's easier. I could see her alone if that's easier. Look, I know she said some bad things about
Bad
Christmas.
things, yeah, that's an understatement. Look, you go and see her, you're just gonna have an argument, and you're gonna be upset, and I'm gonna have to deal with it. So no, don't call her back, but yeah, block her number.
I can't block her.
See? Poison. She's not even here, she's ruined this meal.
You're right.
Oh, stop it. Clean up this mess. Hey, come on, baby. I'm sorry. Shh, no, don't cry. Come on. I love you. I love you too. Come on. All right. Come on. Yeah, let's come on. What's the matter?
No.
Come on, help me. Let's last the bottle, please. Come on. Have some. Cheers. I love you. All right, come on, drink it. Come on.
On June 6th, Rachel Longford knew Art.
So you see kind of the back and forth with the challenges that come up. It can be a tricky group to work with because you could have folks wanting to go back. The average return time is 7 times before separating, and then finally making the move to separate.
take your beer eating those tonight, do you? Drunkard.
Well, they help me sleep, so.
I think you're drunk enough already to sleep, but it's up to you.
Morning, lazy baby. Just wake up. Hey. Did you sleep better last night? Did you sleep all the way through?
I don't really know.
You didn't make a sound. Tea. Swizzy. Hopefully you'll feel better today. Right. Get up. Yeah, help me shake it off.
Today's gonna be a good day.
So some of the stats that came up, on average, 2 women are killed every week by a current or ex-partner. Just leave isn't always an option. 2.3 million people in the UK were recorded as victims of domestic violence in 2019. And abuse is a choice, the abuser's choice. The victim is never to blame. So during COVID-19, the number of cases has risen sharply. In the first 3 weeks, 14 women and 2 children were killed in the UK alone. Some of the research that came up is with the lockdown, which made it worse. Set to lift last year, we can't leave the domestic violence folks behind. We must act now. So some of the shelters did help break the cycle. There's definitely a lot of challenges with that. We have some local here in Xenia. I know some folks have done their internship here. And why some of our work with the grants are specific to violence, abuse, and domestic violence. So we have the street outreach grant we had written at Lighthouse, and I'm kind of connecting this to the final paper. So if leading the group, if it's like a girls circle, you guys could use a lot of these stats. On grants.gov is the place a lot of us look up the different federal grants that we get involved in. It's opening here. I will also try to share this in the next 2 classes because I guess it's a good example of some of the stuff you guys could get into. I have a shorter one with horticulture therapy specifically, but here is, starting off your paper with the facts, and it talks about this in the outline of the big final paper, and we'll go through all of this. But the big one being homeless youth population needs services in Cincinnati. They provided at Lighthouse this way. The target population, those who were defined as homeless, we kind of covered. I was an editor on this grant, so I tried to show the last 4 years. It was slowly rising, so like from 11.5 to 12.9%. In a total of 7,300 homeless up to 8,200 homeless. Then showing the increase of 30% in those aged 18 to 23. Then decrease in the number of shelters because they lost several dozen beds. And especially for those 18 to 24, it was a little bit harder to get shelter. And they had to double up some of them for their homelessness. HUD dividing these numbers, those who were enrolled, and why it's important to have, for example, a group like this. That's kind of what we're getting into here. Identifying areas where this outreach grant help and some of the programs they're doing. And highlighting the hotbed areas of homelessness. So you see some in the greater Cincinnati area, East Price Hill, Central Business District, Avondale and Bond Hill, and then in Westwood. And then where a lot of the outreach pathways are, because Lighthouse would actually walk and attend under the bridge and see folks. Here's some of the places that were offering homeless groups and places to help them, from Bethany Health Services to City Gospel Mission to the United Way of Greater Cincinnati. Lots of good services, but still showing a major need here. And I know your final paper is only like 10, 12 pages, but you can get a large portion of this to break it down. A strategy that can help. Lighthouse knows how important to succeed is a well thought out strategy and marketing with community organizations serving the homeless population. So trying to work together with folks, and then showing folks that were served at drop-in resource center. The safety plan given, the folks who enter the shelter, then also exit as planned. Because with all these guys, you would write up a treatment plan and like a discharge attempt and how you would serve them maybe with the groups during their stay at the homeless shelter. Chapter 2 is the approach. So what outreach would look like, some of the marketing, because we've mentioned that in a group, you have to market and brand. So Lighthouse got a van and some shirts that read street outreach. And some of these billboards that they had put up, one homeless youth is too many. Every night in Cincinnati, there are hundreds that are victimized. Together we can end this. And also empowering homeless victims. No one should be sold for sex. And the number, you matter to us, or text help to pound 233-733. A few other billboards they had about one homeless youth is too many. And, making sure to put it up at the right part of the Cincinnati area. So the marketing materials were targeted at the youth. They have some on Facebook and use the same pictures that they had taken for that. Showing what the homeless shelter was and how the groups they run for the street outreach program, working in the community. Like I said, going to grants.gov to find where they have the grants to fund this, try to get even referral cards to the kids that were homeless, and let them know it's a safe space no matter what their race, gender, religion, or any of those exact locations. So if they were on foot, and stuff on the National Runaway Switch. So call live or chat at 1-800-runaway.org or 1-800-786-2929. So some of the different things, like how you're going to provide the group, what it looks like for outreach, the media coverage. So that's Channel 9 in Cincinnati. Then for those who even aged out, so if they were in foster care, what it looks like for the 18 and 24-year-olds, distribute on Lighthouse behalf. to give outreach, the media coverage, and then the newspaper. So they put this big front page in the Cincinnati Enquirer, which is, that was September of 2014, how they were putting out the news for the folks that they were serving. So you really set the table and set the stage, like why this group and service is needed, how sometimes grant positions fund your entire social work position. So if you get onto grants.gov, finding the $100,000 grants that could fund an entire position for an entire year, oftentimes the agency takes a half to 2/3, and then it will fund a salary of $35,000 to $45,000, and then showing what we'll do with funding, like community awareness training. They provide trained volunteers and the staff on the needs of the homeless, runaway, and street youth, the philosophy and methods, and then how we're going to serve them, the awareness of the challenges that come about. Other outreach, so further is at local, statewide, and regional conferences, also at the Attorney General's 2-day conference in May for a few years, the statewide advocacy, and then also the 2014 National Runaway and Homeless Youth Conference. Lighthouse used some of the grant funding, and this grant actually, if I'm not mistaken, was close to 7 figures. It was like $800,000 or $900,000. The plan to expand the scope in Cincinnati. Their goal was to end homelessness by 2020. That may or may not have been actuality. Lighthouse went on the national scope this year, so they'll be at the Major League Baseball All-Star Game. This is known as a venue for sex trafficking and exploitation. The street outreach staff is training volunteers and Major League Baseball staff on the signs of runaway or homeless youth. And then the risk for victimization. So I wanted to make it at least a quarter of the way through this, and we are on 2.2, where they talk about what Drop-In Center does. So when leading a group, you see why you dedicate a large number of pages, 10, 12, 15 pages to like the problem, how you're going to serve them, and even funding and grants. So we'll get more into that. I know it's 22, and I wanted to give you guys a chance to begin working on it. If you have any questions, again, email at any time, and I'll see you again Wednesday.